Yeah, we do post our workshops on our YouTube channel, so I'll share the link at the end of the workshop with you, and maybe give it like a week or two, and this particular video will be up, and some of my past Blender workshops are there too. In the past, I've done a giraffe, so I've used like a reference image and showed people how to like import that into Blender, and then kind of use a plane to start forming your character. But today I'm going to do something a little different. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to do Kirby from Nintendo. So I'm going to show you how to model him. He's a pretty easy and straightforward character to model. The beauty about this little guy is that like once you have him modeled, you can use them for various purposes. As you can see here in this, I made a video with the model I created of Kirby, and I'll go ahead and play it so you can kind of see. So yeah, I did this using Blender. I got all the sound clips, the faces, the different faces. I created like the background, the grass, the welcome, and I put it all together in Blender. With Blender, you can do a lot of things. You can not just 3D model, but you can do video editing. You can sculpt, which a lot of people do if they're like making a video game. They'll uh, create a model that's like low poly, and then from there go to sculpting and continue for there to like perfect it. But yeah, today I'm just gonna show you pretty much how to navigate and how to like pretty much just create Kirby and add maybe like the materials and the color so you have like a model. Um, but I will be doing future workshops in the fall. I might do a two-parter. I might do another one where I show you how to 3D model a character, and then I'll show you how to add a bone, like bones to the character, like an armature, so that you can actually use that for animations and pose it in different ways. And then my second part for that workshop is going to be probably how to do something like this, where I'm going to show you how to do animation with that character and set up a scene, work with the camera, the environment textures and all that. So that would be like the second part. Because yeah, unfortunately, it would be too long for one workshop. So um, yeah, anyway, I let a few more people in. So looks like I might get started. Uh, yeah, and also at the end of the workshop, I'll share my email and my contact info so that if you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me. Also, if you are on campus, feel free to visit the Creator Lab. It's in the Orbach Library, first floor. When you come in, you turn to the right and you'll see it. And you can ask for me. Students are there. We're open from 12 to 4. And we have a lot of other services, not just I know the most popular is 3D printing, but we have a lot of other tools that you can use. We have like a 3D scanner, 3D printers. We have virtual reality headsets. We have a multimedia computer. We have electronic keyboard, sewing machines. So there's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of that stuff is just free for you to come in and use. Even the 3D printing service, you could get 2 free print files under 30 grams per quarter. And then anything after that, we just charge, I think, like 7 cents per gram. So it's not that much. All right, guys. So I let a few other people in. So let me open up my Blender, and hopefully all of you can see it. So when you open a Blender, you get this little screen right here, and it gives you options, as you can see, like if you're gonna do VFX, sculpting, 2D animation, general, or video editing. You could choose between different layouts, but today we're just gonna do general. So you don't have to hit, you can just hit that, and then you'll get this screen. For Blender, it's always been that you get this default screen with the cube, just like in the middle of the world, your environment. So to move around in the environment, I have a 3-button mouse, so I use the middle mouse to click, and then you can kind of hold it and hover around to see like the different sides of your whatever it is you're working on. But if you don't have a 3-button mouse, you can just use these tools right here will help you like zoom in, uh, move the view, toggle the camera view, hover around the X, Y, and Z axis. So like if I click on it or if I click and hold, I can do the same thing that I would be able to accomplish with my mouse. So let's go over here. On this side of the window, you just have your basic kind of tools, like if you want to move your object, rotate it, scale it, transform, measure, do some annotations, I think. To do that, you would have to click on your object and then come over here and click on what you want to do. And then you'll get like these different tools that'll come up in the middle of your object. So if you want to rotate, you'll see this little like wheel. If you want to move, you'll get the arrows, and then you just click on the X, Y, or Z axis, and then you can just move it up, move it to the right, whatever you wish. Also, you can just on the keyboard, if you click on your object, click G for grab, and then that lets you just kind of freely move around your object. Also over here, you'll see that we have an object mode. So object mode for Blender is just where you can select all the different objects. So if I had more objects in the scene, like let me say I hit Shift, I could do Shift A to get like this window to add like a new mesh, armature, an image, like if I was going to use a reference image, another camera, speakers, a lot of different options. But today we're just going to stick to this. So I'm going to show you, so like if I wanted to add another cube, I can go ahead and do that. Okay, kind of move it around. So in object mode, you can select between all your different objects. And if you go over here to the right, it's kind of like Photoshop. You can kind of see you have all your objects in this, this little drop-down menu. So in this drop-down menu, like if I wanted to select the camera, I can do that. The camera is hovering over here. If I wanted to select Q1, Q2, the light, or if I want to delete any of these too, I can just click here and delete them. If you want to hide something, you can just do this, bring it back. Sometimes it's useful if you have a lot of things and you just want to clean it up a little bit really quick because you want to focus on one thing, you can like hide everything and come back and bring it back into the view. Let's see, so I'm gonna hit delete on my keyboard just to get rid of that box. And remember when we opened up Blender, you got the that little window that lets you pick what scene you want to do. The same thing, once you're in here, you can still switch between the different layouts depending on what you want to do. So like if I wanted to do animation, I would go here. Then I get this the little timeline down here for the frames. Then I have like 2 different views here that would help me with the animation. If I was working on some like shading for my object, you would go here. Then you would, yeah, texture pane is another option where you can kind of color in your object and add images to it. UV editing is kind of similar. Sculpting, that's if you want to, like I mentioned before, once you have like an object, you can come in here and use some of the tools to sculpt your object and make it a little smoother and stuff. So, oh, I see I have a question during the remainder of the summer. Oh, yeah, feel free, yeah, if you want to come into the Creator Lab, if you want to ask for me and I'm available, I can always come into the Creator Lab. We have Blender installed and I can answer any questions and show you how to do animations and all that. You don't have to wait for the workshop if that's easier for you. So yeah, at the end of it, I'll share my email and you can set up if you want also through email like a meeting with me and I can meet you there. That's no problem at all. So let's see so I was showing you that. The only other things I guess I could show you from here before we get started is a couple things. So right here, you could kind of see the view it says like viewport shading. If I click on that, now my object is kind of transparent. So some people, I guess it depends on what you're doing and your preference. You might want to switch between the different kind of views over here. Um, this one on the right is like if you have materials and like shading or lighting. This would give you like a preview of what you'll get when you render the image or video. But that does take up a lot of your computer resources, so it's usually better just to work with one of these, like the viewport shading, one of the first two. So let me just show you some of the tools before I start showing you the curvy. So how different is it from Windows and Mac? For the Mac, I believe it's if you have a 3-button mouse, you should be okay. But if you don't, I did do a workshop recently. I forgot what's the key you have to. Yeah, there's one key you have to hold on your keyboard when you're doing that. I don't remember right now. If it comes back to me, I'll let you know. If not, email me and I can find that out for you. I do have a Mac at home, so I can go and play around with it and answer your question through email. Oh yeah, and then sorry guys, I think it's just me today for the workshop, so I'll try my best to keep an eye on the chat and answer questions. But if not, at the end of the session, I'll quickly open my chat and like kind of go through that and answer questions or go over anything else you might need me to go over. Apologize for that. We had our student workers out sick today, so it's just me. Yeah, anyway, so I'm in object mode. Let me just show you edit mode, which is where you'll be doing most of your like modeling and stuff with your meshes. So as you can see now, the whole box, the cube is highlighted. So if you zoom in, I'm just gonna zoom in using my little wheel, or you could use this hourglass right here, magnifying glass, I mean. Yeah, you can zoom in and out. You see these little dots right here on the corners. Those are called vertices. So if you watch any videos online, they'll usually reference the little points as vertices. This line between this vertice and this vertice is an edge. So that if I wanted to like select the edge, I would go up here, click on this middle button, and then if I click on this, you see it highlights that whole line between the 2 points. So, and I'll show you in a minute what you can do with all three. The next one would be the face. So the face is just that whole like surface area on the object. So you can see this is a face, this is a face. And depending on your object or whatever you're working on, you might have a ton of these little faces. So you can manipulate them, extrude them, delete them. It's a lot of things you could do. But yeah, let me go back to the vertice selection. So like, let's say I wanted to move this vertice. I can click that vertice. I can hit G on my keyboard, and you see now it allows me to stretch it. So now I can kind of manipulate my cube to whatever it is I want to make. So, and then when I'm ready to just, you left click and then it'll just stop, stay in that position. And then if you hit N on your keyboard, if you go to view, I think, is it view? I think it might be that one. Let me see. It lets you see what you're doing. Yeah, you see, it shows you the coordinates as you move it. So you can also just come in here and play around with the numbers and move it, but it's easier just to click on the vertex, hit G for grab and manipulate it. If I wanted to work with the edge, I could come here and now I can click on this and then I can hit G, and now I'm moving this whole thing right here, as you can see. And then if you have the numpad, you can hit like the different numbers and you could get different views when you're working on your object. Oops, sorry, right now it did something. Oh yeah, it extended it more. Let me see. So yeah, you can go to like the side view with 1, 3, that's another view. 7 and 8 is top and bottom, and then 4 you could just kind of gradually move to the left and then to the right with 5. 0 is the camera view. So that's what you would see if I rendered this image right now. So like if I went to render image, this is the image I would get because that's my camera view. And again, remember I mentioned in the beginning, you can move your camera. So yeah, the camera is over here, but you have to be in object mode to be able to do that. So you would have to go to object mode and then select the camera. Then you can move it around and get a new view. And then here you can also just move it around if you hit G, as long as it's selected and you're in object mode. And let's see, so yeah, let me see, let me go back to edit mode. I'm gonna hit tab. Oh, you have to select the object and then hit tab. That takes you back to edit mode. Let me just show you the face. So I'm gonna grab this face and I'm gonna like grab it. So now you can see I can move the whole thing. You can also do scaling. For scaling, it's just S. And then you could kind of see I could shrink it, I can make it bigger. Also, you can do a G, E to extrude, and then you can extrude faces. You can start adding more dimensions to your object. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much like some of the stuff I wanted to show you before we got started. Let's see. Are there any questions so far? Let me check the chat. Nope. All right, so yeah, let me get started with Kirby. He's gonna be pretty easy. He's not gonna be too hard to follow. The giraffe was a little more complicated, I think, just because you had to keep changing your views, and there's like a little more to that. But this one hopefully won't be too bad for you guys. So let me do Shift A on my keyboard. If you also want to do it this way, you can go up here to do Add, go to Mesh, and then you want to do a UV sphere. So now you see we have this little ball. So that's going to be our Kirby's body. One thing I want to do to him is add a modifier. So a modifier, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. So when you click on your object, all these things right here are like the properties for it. So for like the materials, what we're going to use right now, the modifiers, and you'll see in a moment what, there's a lot of different modifiers you can add that'll help you manipulate your object or help you add like different kind of thing, like think of them as tools. Today we're gonna use 2 of them. We're gonna use a Mirror Modifier, which will allow you to kind of mimic what you're doing on one side of your character on the other side. So it lessens the amount of work you have to do. That would come in handy if you're working on like a face or a head. That way, when you're working on the eye on the right, it's automatically forming on the left. So it's more proportional and you don't have to worry about like spending all that time on the left side if you're already working on the right. Then we're gonna use a Boolean one, and that one's just gonna be to use the bigger sphere to cut into the smaller spheres. And I'll show you what that will look like when we do it in a bit. Right now we are gonna use the subdivision modifier. So a subdivision modifier would add a lot more faces to your object, making it a lot smoother. As you can see right now, we have all these big faces. So as soon as I add that modifier on the wrench, so you click on this little wrench and make sure you have your object selected. So you'll know it's selected if it's highlighted in, I guess it's like orange. Then you go over here, Subdivision Surface. And if you look at your object, now you have a lot more faces, a lot more of those little squares. So that just gives it more definition. It also allows you, like if you are going to extrude from it, more options to grab the different vertices, the edges, and the faces to do more with your object, as opposed to like if you had just a bunch of big squares, and you're kind of limited, and it'll look more boxy at the end. So I did that. what I'm gonna do next is if you right click, you can select the shade smooth. That'll just make your object smooth, like nice and as you can see now, it's like I don't see the boxes anymore. And this is just useful, I guess, because if you're gonna use Kirby for animation and all that, you don't want to see those little, like all the faces and all the little imperfections, I guess. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Now we're going to add another one. So you can, I think it's Shift D to duplicate if you select your object, and then if you move your mouse, you'll see I have another sphere. And then I'm just gonna move this guy to the right a little bit and then click. And then what we wanna do with this big one is it's gonna be his little arm. So to make it smaller, remember we wanna go into edit mode up here. So I can click on this, go to edit mode. And on the keyboard, it's just tab, like a quick shortcut. So yeah, from here, you want to go to scale, and then you just want to shrink this guy. And yeah, you guys could play around with it too. Another way to do it too, which I use the it'll be a little quicker, is let me delete this and I'll show you. So I'm gonna go out of this, go back to object mode, hit delete on my keyboard. The other way that I do it is I just use my keyboard. So so I'll click on this, I'll do Shift D again to duplicate. I'll move it to the right. Then I'll hit S on my keyboard to scale. And then I just drag. And then when I'm happy with my circle, I'll just click, and then I'll go to, if you want to move it around too, once you have it there, you could just click on it, hit G, and then you could kind of move it around. So kind of leave it right there. Yeah, and then it's up to you if you want to give him a bigger or smaller. You can always come back and click on it, hit S to scale, shrink it a little bit. Then you can hover around, make sure it's like kind of centered. So now we have two circles, one kind of intersecting into this one. So now what I'm gonna do is I wanna click on this circle, and I'm gonna get ready to add the mirror modifier. To add the modifier, it's a little like, it's a little weird. You always have to clear all the transformations on the object. If not, it doesn't work too well. To do that, you want to be in object mode, click on this, and then it's Control A, and then you want to do all transformations. So again, I clicked on the sphere, did Control A on my keyboard, and that'll bring up this. Let me get some water. And then click on all transformations. And then if you notice over here, everything goes back to 0 on the location. So from here, what you want to do is go back to the little wrench. And then you want to add a mirror modifier. So just go down here and do mirror. It's like in the middle. And then we want to do Y. Y or X? Ooh, why is it getting two? Let me see. Oh, there you go. So it added it over here. So I did it on the Y-axis. So so that'll be his two little arms. And like I mentioned before, it just helps save time when you're working with your characters, and you need to do the same thing on both sides. So so I'm just gonna click to leave that there. And then for the feet, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. We're gonna do, you could duplicate this guy, and and then just scale it down and create the feet. So exactly what we did with these guys, we could do with the feet. So again, it's Shift D to duplicate, bring that guy down, then hit S to scale, and then G to grab it, move it around. And then again, if you want to do the same thing as with this, we can do the mirror modifier. And make sure you just click on this object mode, and then come up here to the wrench, and then do, oh, I'm sorry, we need to clear this first. I always forget that part too. So again, to clear your transformations, you click on your object, Control A, all transformations. You'll see that it cleared. Go to the wrench, go to add modifier, and then do mirror. Then you're gonna do the Y again, I think. So it's, yeah. Yeah, so now you have your two little legs, the two arms, and your body. So yeah, let me see if there's any questions. Okay, everyone's good. Okay, so remember I mentioned I was gonna use a Boolean modifier too. So right now, like, you can kind of see that if I click on it, it highlights the entire mesh, and it's still like the full circle is still there. It's just cutting into this bigger one. So what I'm gonna do is with the Boolean, I'll show you. It's probably easier to see what happens when you when you use it. So I'm gonna use that. Go here, click on my circles. Go to the wrench again. Go to add modifier, and then it's up at the top. And then if you do Boolean, oh, it's down here. It moves it down to the bottom. Then you want to do difference, and then you want to select the object. So it's the sphere. So you see now that that pretty much cut out half of the circle on this one and this one, because it's using the big circle as a reference to cut the difference out from the other two. So now I have like a half circle and a half circle attached to them. And then yeah, we want to do the same thing to the feet. So you could do add modifier, go to Boolean, and then again it's at the bottom. So you just want to select the object, which is the sphere. Oh, did I do? Let me move this up. Oh, there you go. If it disappears, it's usually because these stack on each other. So sometimes you just have to move one modifier and place it over the other. I don't know why it does that, but if you move them around, sometimes that'll fix some of those issues that you get when that happens. So so yeah. So now we have the feet, 2 feet, the 2 arms, the curvy. So now all that's really left to do right now, since we still have the mirror modifier for the feet, is just kind of form his little feet. And I don't know, his feet are they're not circular, they're kind of like an oval shape. So let me show you how to do that. So if you go to edit mode, so now you see it allows me to modify one of the little feet. So what I want to do is kind of rotate to the bottom, and I'm going to click on this this vertice. So make sure you have the vertice option selected up here. I didn't, so it was selecting the faces. So once you do that, go back down, click on that very middle vertice. Let me zoom in. So so I clicked on that vertice. What I'm gonna want to do is kind of flatten it out a little bit. Like I'm gonna move all these vertices up just to flatten his foot a little bit. So to do that, I'm gonna go up here and use another tool, which is proportional editing. So I'm gonna click on this little circle up here. So what that basically does is like if I was just gonna edit that vertice by itself without proportional editing, I could kind of show you so you could see. Like if I hit grab right now on that guy, so I'll hit G on my keyboard. It's just moving that vertice, which is not gonna help me flatten out all that whole area under his foot. I would have to do like one vertice at a time, and that would be really bad and would look pretty bad too. So what proportional editing does is it allows you to, like, if I grab that one vertex, it'll grab all the other vertices around it and kind of proportionally move it with it alongside it. So you get a little more even um, moving of the vertices. So and over here, it just gives you different options. So I'm just gonna keep it to smooth. But you could try the other ones like sphere if you want. You can play around with them all. I mean, that's how you learn. But I think for this purpose, the smooth one's gonna be the best one. But yeah, let's see. So I'm gonna do G to grab, and then I'm just gonna bring it up. And then you see that circle? I'm using the wheel on my mouse to shrink it. So if I shrink it, it just brings down the edge, shortens the area that I'm bringing up. So just depends how much you want to flatten it out. So I guess for me, this would be kind of good. I kind of like that. And then one more, I'm gonna do the same thing I just did right now, but at the front. So I'm just gonna kind of grab the center vertex. I'm gonna go to the side view, and then I'm just gonna do that again. So I'm gonna hit G, and then just kind of, I'm gonna shrink it though, like the circle, like the area I want. So, oh no, that's not what I want. Maybe there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, and you can play around with it if you want it more oval. Maybe you can make it bigger, make that area bigger, and as you're using the proportional editing and grabbing the vertex, you can pull it out and give it more of an oval look. But I think this is good, at least for me. So yeah, pretty much we have Kirby almost done. The only thing left is now if I go back to object mode, these guys still have all these modifiers. So I haven't actually applied the modifiers yet. I mean, I'll keep that one there. But once you apply the modifiers, then you can't go back and do any changes to them here or modify it. So it's always good to kind of leave it towards the end, I guess. So that way, in case you make a mistake or something, you can always come back and correct it here. But I think for the modifying part for this, we should be good. So to add the modifiers, to apply them, you just click on the little down arrow in the modifier window, and then you just hit apply. So then you just keep doing that. And the mirror is the last one I did. So for this one too, oh, this one, I thought I did the arms. So yeah, I just hit apply. I'll do the Boolean first and then the mirror. Yeah, so now we have the curvy model. But yeah, he has no color or anything right now. So to do that, we just go to shading, and you can kind of see that I have the arm selector right now, but I want to select the his body. And then you can always come over here and make sure you're selecting the object. Make sure you're on object, because if you're in world, it'll do the environment, not the object. I had that problem when I first started learning this. I couldn't select it. It was because I had the world selected, so it was actually doing everything in the background. Oh, for the vertice? Oh yeah, I could show you in a little bit. I'm just gonna show them really quick the how to add the paint, and then I'll show you how I grab that all the vertices again. So yeah, So here I'm just gonna add, I guess we could do the feet. So if you click new, you'll get this. These are called nodes. I'm still learning how to work with the nodes myself, but there's a lot of things you could do with the nodes for shading and for um, and to pretty up your renders, like to add more like shading, more make it look more realistic, add shadows. Um, there's a lot of stuff you could do with these. But for today, we're just gonna use them to add the color and the and Kirby's face to like the mesh. Because right now it's just like a blank canvas with nothing on it. So I just want to go to base color and then I'll select like a red. His feet are red. And then as you can see now, my Kirby, his little feet are red. And then here, there's a lot of stuff you can play around with too, like the metallic, if you want it to look metallic. Um, you can bring that up all the way up. Yeah, you see. Oops. So it kind of looks a little more metallic, but yeah, you can play around with that stuff and get the effect that you want for your Kirby. And next I could do, I'll probably do the body. So I'll hit new. For this one, we want to add a texture. So I just went to add, go to texture, and then image texture. And you'll get this little image texture window. So now I want to delete this middle one. I'm not going to use this one for this. So if you click on this node, you could just hit delete on your keyboard. You can see now he's just dark. So now what I want to do is I want to open the image. Oh, and then I shared the image. If you go to the chat, the image should be like at the beginning of the chat. You can download the face so you can follow along. If not, at the end of the workshop, I'll reshare it with you guys so that you can add that to your Kirby as well. So I want to do open. So now I want to look for my Kirby faces. I'll do this one. Then what I want to do is I want to connect this node to this node. Like as you remember, the previous one was connected. So now you can kind of see his eyes and stuff are on the left side. But that's okay because we can go back and in a little bit and rotate the sphere so that he's actually looking forward and not like to the back. So I could either rotate the sphere or I could rotate his arms and legs to match the face. So now all that's left is his little arms. So I'm just gonna click on the arms, hit new. For this one, I'll keep this node, but there's also another one you can add. Let me see if I can find it for you right now. I think it's this one, input. I think it's the RGB. Oh yeah, this one. So you could use either one of these to select the color for the arms. This one just gives you more options and with like the metallic, the specular tint, like the roughness. So you can just be more creative with that. With this one, it's just going to be just the color. Like you're not going to be able to play around with any of these. So I'll just delete this one. We're not going to use it. But I just wanted to show you as an option in case you feel like I don't need all this. I just want the color there. So you could use the RGB. So yeah, I'm just going to click on the space color. And then I could click on the little eye drop. And then I could kind of come over here and look. And then just click and then get a similar color to to the head. And then you can always move this around if you want or play with this to get a lighter variation if you want. But yeah, so now let me go back to layout. You could kind of see now everything went away, right? Oh yeah, and then for Dave, you wanted to know how I did the proportional editing. So let me just show you really quick. So I clicked on the feet, go to tab for edit mode. If you click on the vertice, remember the vertice, you want to select it up here. You want to be in vertice mode. And then you want to come up here. You see this little circle? If you hover over it, it'll say proportional editing. So I just left it at default, but you had a lot of different options there. For all the different ways that you can extrude the vertice or move it around. But I just left it at smooth. And then if I go to the side view and I hit G, you could kind of see the circle pops up, and you could use this the wheel on your mouse to make it smaller or bigger. And then as you move it, you can kind of see like it moves all proportionally with that point. Yeah, and then when you're happy, you could just leave it. And then you do notice that like everything went away. Now my Kirby's he's pretty much just gray again. He looks like clay. But if I click on this guy over here, the viewport shading, the one on the far right, yeah, now I have my Kirby back. And then we just needed to rotate the sphere, so that's really easy. So I need to be in object mode. So I'm gonna hit tab. I'm gonna click on this, just get like a front view. And then I'm gonna hit R to rotate, and then, oh, this part's lower. So let me see. Yeah, so yeah, you can kind of play around with it, and then you can always move the arms. Right now, since I use the mirror modifier, it's seeing it as one object. But if you click on it, and I believe if you go to edit mode, if you hit P, you select by loose part, separate by loose part. So again, I just went to edit mode and hit P on my keyboard. And then if you do loose parts, now they're both two different items. So now if I go to object mode, I separated these two. So they're no longer bound by that mirror. Like these right now, Blender is seeing them as just one item. But again, I can do that with this again if I want to separate them. That way I can move each hand separately or foot separately. And that's what you would want to do if you're gonna use it for animation. We would want to separate it, because the next step would be adding the armature, which the armature is what we would use to manipulate his hands and his feet, so that we can create the animation of him walking, kind of like in the video I showed at the beginning of the workshop, where he's walking, he jumps and waves at you. But yeah, so from here we can select the whole Kirby. Once you're happy with it, you could hit join. That would join all the pieces, I think. And then yeah, so now he's just one object, and you can see over here everything went away. So now I just have one solid object. And you would want to do that if you just wanted to 3D print them. So you would just, when you're ready to print them, you would go to File, Export, and then we would do STL. And then the STL file you can use on any printer on the slicing machine and software, I'm sorry, and then create your Kirby. Yeah, I could share. I'll share the link once it's up. I believe I still have access to all your emails, but if not, let me share the link where it will be posted to. Let me copy it real quick. So here is let's see. Did you get that, guys? Oh, I'm sorry. Everyone in meeting. Okay. Oh yeah, and then you were asking about the Boolean. So yeah, so like if I have the two objects, well, since I joined Kirby, he's one solid object, but I can show you again. Let's see. I'm in object mode. I'm gonna add the circle. Oh, not the circle, I'm sorry. The UV sphere. And then I'm just gonna Shift D, duplicate this so you can kind of see. So now I have two. I'll shrink this one just so you can kind of see. So since I have two objects, you see right now if I select this guy, it's still like one full, it's still a circle. The reason I would do this is if I was gonna do if I was gonna rig them with bones and animation, this would be probably the best way to go about that. But I think if you're just gonna use it to 3D print and join everything like I did at the end, you probably don't need it. But I did just want to show you so you know about it in case you're working on something you want to use that modifier. Um, but yeah, let me click on this. So I'm gonna add the modifier to the small circle. I just want to go to the little wrench on the right, add modifier, then it should be in the middle, Boolean, and then you want to do difference. It's already by default selected, and then click on the object you want to use as your reference to subtract from. So I'm going to use the circle. Let's see. Oh no, the sphere. I'm sorry. Yeah, the sphere. So now you see I cut this guy in half, referencing the bigger one. So that's how you would do the Boolean difference. Oh, you want to how you can modify it? Yeah, yeah. If you click on the object, you just need to be in edit mode. So you could come up here and do edit mode. If not, you can just hit tab and you could toggle. So you would select the item you want to modify and toggle. And then over here, like if you want to use this clear view or transparent view, I mean, or you could switch depending on how you feel comfortable. That's the default one. There's that one. There's this one too. So yeah, you just play around with that. Oh yeah, I can share the curvy image texture again. Let me share it. Okay, I just sent it again. Um, I'll share two of them. One with his mouth closed too. You guys can play around with it, like whichever one you like. Oh yeah, so I just sent you two. So yeah, if you guys is like on your own, play around with them. Maybe switch the faces. Um, play around with some of the subdivision stuff or add other modifiers just to see what it does. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that for today. Very simple. We made a curvy so we could use it for different purposes. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I did a direct message. Let me do it again. Sorry about that. Uh, okay. Do you guys see that? I think it should have gone to everyone now. All right, let me send the other one again. I'm not sure if the first one went through. Okay, I just sent you the both. I think I sent you a face where his mouth closed and open, so you guys could play around with that. Oh, how do you add the shading to the face? Oh yeah. Let's see. So you want to just go to shading, and then you want to select your. Oh, I think I'm in edit mode. Wait, let me go back to layout. Make sure I select. Oh no, I'm in object mode. So I'm gonna click on curvy. Right now, since I joined this guy, I won't be able to do it, I think, but I could do it to this one. So I selected this guy. Then I'm gonna go to shading, and then make sure you have object selected over here. It should be. If not, you just want to click down and do object instead of the other ones. If not, it won't let you do anything. So with this guy selected, I'm just gonna hit new. I'm not going to use this node. I'm going to use a different one. So I'm going to go to texture. I went to add texture and then image texture. And this one I can delete it. So you can get rid of that guy. So you can see right away my Kirby just went dark because he doesn't have any node telling Blender what's there, like what color or shading. So I just wanna, with the image I just sent you, you would just find it on your computer. So yeah, if I want to do a mean curvy, and then I just have to connect these, and then you could see, yeah, now I have a mean curvy face. Oh yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, and then for the arm, it's the similar thing too. You just want to select that and then hit new. This one you just have to go here and then pick your color from the wheel or use the eye drop to try to get like the color you want. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, guys. So again, I can show the video. I don't know if some of you missed it, but this is what I did with my Kirby. So I made like a little animation video, and like I mentioned, I might do like a two-part uh workshop in the fall where I'm gonna show you how to create your Kirby again, add the bones so that the armature so that you can animate him, and then the second part will probably be setting up your scene, like the lighting, camera, and then actually showing you how you can animate and add frames and export that as a video. So that should be pretty fun. All right, guys. So if you don't have any more questions, yeah, let me type in my email. And if you, yeah, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. So it's just my first name dot last name at ucr.edu. And yeah, if you want to come by, I'm always there from 12 to 4. If you want to set up an appointment with me, we can go over this stuff. I can show you how to use Blender. Yeah, so yeah, just come by and visit us too, just to check out the Creator Lab, the Makerspace whenever you have time. Yeah, so yeah, guys, I'll let you get back to your afternoon. Hope you have a good afternoon. Good luck with all your classes as well. And then and thanks for joining me today. It was fun. So yeah, and also the recording should be up in like a week or two if you guys wanted to review anything on there as well. All right. All right, guys. So have a good day. Thank you, everyone.